Hi everyone, and welcome to the first ever AppTV Alumni Takeover. I'm your host and current AppTV station manager, Grace Ellen Callahan. Today, we are bringing back some AppTV alumni to check in with them and see how they've been doing since graduation. AppTV alumni have gone in a variety of routes, whether it may be in news production or making their way through Hollywood. We have a plethora of stories to tell you about today. And to start things off, we are joined by recent App State Spring 2025 grad, Jordan Luker. Since graduating, Jordan Luker has been working as an MMJ reporter at WCTI in Greenville, North Carolina. Jordan, thank you for joining us today.
I know, it was great. 4-hour drive, but from Greenville, at least, if you don't count the Raleigh traffic and the Boone traffic. There's a lot of stuff going on today, and I don't think they're all here to see me. But yeah, the drive is really pretty up. You're starting to get to see all the fall foliage. That's what I miss most about Boone. I don't miss the traffic, though.
Absolutely. For homecoming weekend, it's super exciting just to see all the leaves just coming up and everything. So we really appreciate you taking the time to be here today. But do you just want to fill everyone in? What did you do for AppTV when you were here?
Yeah, so I really didn't start AppTV until more my junior year. I started doing App Weekly News, or AWN. I worked with that. I was sort of just an MMJ for that, but for App Weekly News, you do a lot of different stuff. And then senior year, I did something I really enjoyed. This was a nice change in pace, doing Up Late. And, but for App Weekly News was sort of the main thing I did at AppTV. I did election coverage. I covered the aftermath of Hurricane Helene last year for App Weekly News, as most reporters did. And I also did some weather reports for AppTV as well, which was also really fun. I was also a sports analyst as well.
Well, Jordan, we actually prepared something for you and the viewers at home. So we're just going to take this quick little clip real quick of some of Jordan's most renowned work here at AppTV. Let's take a look.
The best way to stay dry is to stay inside, kick your feet up, and stay indoors. But let's be honest, you're in Boone, you're not going to be doing that. If you're out in a storm, always stay low. The higher you are above ground, the higher the risk is of lightning strikes. Keep in mind the 30-30 rule. 30 seconds or less between flash and thunder means a storm is coming and is close enough to be dangerous. Also wait at least 30 minutes after the last thunderclap to resume your outdoor activities. Now, real quick, we just have our monthly weather here for May, June, July, and August. I made sure not to hit the wall this time. For May, it's going to be high of 69 around the average for the month of May, low of 47. Remember, this is the average taken into the month for every day. For June, it's going to be high of 76, low of 55 average for around that month. July, it rises up to 78, low of 59. And then finally, August, it's a high of 77 and a low of 58. Back to you guys.
On what we can expect from Mother Nature in the coming days.
Yeah, guys, well, usually I'm the political analyst, but today I'm going to be AWN's weather analyst for today. We're going to start with the 7-day forecast today for Boone, North Carolina. If you look over here, for Sunday, it's going to be a high, for Monday, it's going to be a high of 77, low of 53, and then you move into Tuesday. That's when the rain's going to start, going to be a 70% chance of rain, but then the temperatures, they're going to cool off a little bit. High of 64, low of 55. You get into Wednesday, high of 69, low of 48. Chance of rain increases to 84%. You get to Thursday, that's even 89% chance of rain, high of 63, low of 53. Then Friday, it's going to look rainy, and Saturday as well. So be careful and safe when you're out at thaw on Saturday. That's a 97% chance of rain. However, it's going to be nice out, high of 69, low of 55. Back to
Jordan, walk us through that. You were AppTV's first weatherman. What was it like when Bob Dillner for Appalachian Weekly News decided, hey, I need a weatherman?
Well, I volunteered, and I really love doing weather. If I wasn't electronic media broadcasting and meteorology didn't involve a lot of math, I could have seen myself being a meteorologist, but then I found out how much math is involved with it. But, get the chance to do some weather, that was amazing, except hitting the wall, as you saw there, if you heard the audible thud on the YouTube channel, that was awesome because they didn't mark my position correctly. So when I stepped back, I ended up just hitting the wall. But you recover. That's what you do, and that's what you have to do at WCTI as well. I haven't hit the wall at WCTI. There's been a couple of moments where you kind of just, especially when you're live, they just say cue and you go. So if you stumble over your words, you don't get a reshoot. You just got to keep going.
We mentioned this a little bit earlier, but post-grad, you graduated in spring 2025, and now you're working in Greenville, North Carolina at WCTI as an MMJ reporter. For people who are less familiar with that, what's your day in the life like?
Yeah, so it used to be you were just the reporter, and you'd have the reporter cameraman. Then they figured out, oh, we can be a little more efficient with this. So now, as an MMJ, you're basically doing camera, writing your scripts, and reporting all at the same time. So it's a very broad job as an MMJ. You're mainly a reporter, but you also have to get B-roll. You have to, and I'm sure a lot of people at App Weekly News do the same. Bob Dillner does a really good job training you to be the modern MMJ versus what a reporter was traditionally, maybe, in the 90s or early 2000s, where it was you and a camera person a lot of the times going out. But as an MMJ, a lot of the times you'll get your assignment or you'll have a story assignment. You'll go out there and that'll be your day. And you turn around a package into one day. So that was probably the biggest change was, at AppTV, sometimes you had a little more leeway because we weren't a paid news organization that had to be at the whim of the viewers getting stuff out instantly. So you had 2 weeks about to do your package. Now you have maybe 2 hours to edit a package together, which is fun too. You have to edit your stuff as well.
You talk about that quick turnaround time. How did your time at AppTV help prepare you for your MMJ role at WCTI?
I think especially what I realized is AppTV especially trained you technically. A lot of schools, and this is not dissing their journalism programs, they focus on the journalism, and they have great journalism schools. But a lot of the times, sometimes, on the technical side, they don't teach as much. And what I noticed is, I was sort of ahead of the curve on the technical side when it came to cameras, when it came to editing. You knew a lot more, and I think that's something that AppTV taught really well, was the technical side of things, knowing what an SDI cable is, knowing how to mic someone up. That was the technical part that really, that's what got me the job, honestly, is what they told me was you being able to do stuff technically in that regard so quickly was one of the reasons I got the job at WCTI. And one of the reasons they were complimenting AppTV's programming here.
If you were to give advice to an upcoming or current AppTV member, what would you give them to take advantage of their resources at AppTV? Because clearly it paid off in your benefit.
It paid off a little bit, I would say. Got the job as an MMJ. But one of the things I think the biggest learning curve for me that, I slowly learned at AppTV for my last 2 years, start early. I didn't start nearly as early as I needed to for doing stuff at AppTV. And, I eventually got the hang of it, but starting early helps you so much in being able to be ahead of the curve. And because if you know how the camera works, now you just can focus on your story. If you know how to white balance and stuff like that, be ahead of the curve in terms of technology. Experiment a little bit too with the camera. Don't be afraid to constrain yourself to a full auto or something. Mess with the white balance a little bit. See what cool shots you can get at an event and, push yourself sometimes. I think sometimes if you're a journalist, they let you you get away with a lot more when you can get up close to people. I remember, a week ago, I was interviewing Governor Josh Stein, or I was at a press event for him. You get right up and close to him for that interview. It's not, don't be afraid to. Now, I'm not saying go up to Josh Stein immediately. I'm not encouraging that at all. But, don't be afraid to push yourself a little bit and get those interviews on people. A lot of people are happy to talk on camera.
Well, Jordan, we really appreciate you taking the time with us today. And now, next up, we are actually going to toss to another alumni. So not all alumni could join us in the studio today, but our own social media manager, Ariana Bennett, got the chance to catch up with Sadie Weiss earlier this week. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Ariana Bennett, Social Media Director for AppTV, and today I'm going to be joined with a recent App State alumni who was on shows such as Up Late and the previous producer for Can't Think Straight. Having graduated in spring 2025, we are so excited to have Sadie Weiss joining us today to talk all things AppTV and how it helped her in post-grad life.
Oh my gosh, hey everyone. I know you're all wondering who I might be and where Nick is. Well, if you tuned in to the season finale of Can't Think Straight Season 7, you know that our old producer, Nick Ragone, graduated and ventured off into adulthood. This means that I'm due for an introduction. My name is Sadie Weiss, and I am your producer of Can't Think Straight Season 8. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Ari.
Yeah, of course. Well, the first question I have to ask you is, you're a producer for Can't Think Straight in spring 2025. What was that like for you?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I've said a ton of times since graduating that it was definitely one of the best decisions that I made in college. Kylie and Austin and Nick all really supported me and said that it would be a good idea and to try it, and I have no regrets at all. It was genuinely one of the best ways to learn leadership, but also just to make connections with like the community and the overall queer community in Boone. I think it was a great way to feel connected to people who are my family.
And I was one of the members under Sadie Weiss, and it was so fun working with you because we got to do a lot of, fun things and pitch new ideas. Do you want to talk about maybe one of your favorite ideas that you got to execute while you were a producer?
Okay, I think doing the PowerPoints was really fun. I am just a huge PowerPoint night person, and I love getting together with my friends and just doing PowerPoints. And so having the opportunity to do that with everyone was really fun, and just giving everyone the creative freedom to pick whatever they wanted to talk about. And so I was laughing so hard. That was hilarious.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
The dabbing one was really funny.
Yep.
Yours was really funny. Everyone's was really funny, and I even just learned stuff and laughed, so it was great.
And do you remember what exactly made you decide to become a producer?
I think it was kind of an overall calling to continue important work. I think Can't Think Straight does a really important thing. It's App State's only queer culture TV show. And I think not only does it connect people, but it also provides safe and real and tangible information that isn't misinformation to people who need it in the high country. And I think that's really special. So I felt called kind of just to be able to serve my community, but also because I think it was going to be something that helped me grow, and it absolutely did help me grow as a person and as a producer.
Yeah, and I know one of the segments we did where we went around the union and we were asking people how informed they were on LGBTQ topics.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that segment a little bit?
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Sadie
And Ariana.
and right now we are in the Plemmon Student Union and we're going to go around and ask people about their experiences with queer sex ed. Let's go.
That segment was our queer sex education episode, and so there's a lot of data and empirics out there that talk about how there's a lack of access to queer sex education. Most queer people don't have access to it and are typically given a heteronormative overview of sex education, and that can be really damaging for people when it comes to sexually transmitted diseases, or being able to know how to protect yourself, or just have safe sex, or talking about consent. Those are all really important things that I felt go pretty underrepresented, especially in the queer community. Also, just in general, sex education is underrepresented and should be more accessible to everyone. So I think that going around campus and being able to ask people about things and kind of open the door to that conversation and have the ability to do that was kind of, eye-opening, just to see that it isn't as accessible as it should be. So I think I had a lot of fun doing that, and a lot of, we got to go to the Women's Center, we got to go to the LGBTQ Center, and talk to some really cool people.
And along with all your important work that you did on Can't Think Straight, you were also a member of Up Late. What was it like juggling producing as well as participating in other shows?
Yeah, so I did a lot of editing, or I would direct a segment here and there for Up Late. And I think what it comes down to is time management and scheduling. I'm a very big believer in having a very strict schedule. I love Google Calendar, and I love being able to follow things
Me and
to a
Google
T.
Calendar, we're best friends.
We're best friends. Absolutely, and still to this day. And so I think that's really helpful, but also just making sure that you're doing stuff that feels rewarding to you and stuff that is your passion. So I was able to execute things that were my passion and creative visions in Up Late and Can't Think Straight, and so I was able to feel rewarded doing both of those things and not drained doing either of those things. So I think that helped a lot with the balancing as well.
Also, the one that you produced and wrote that I know we had to push for. Do you want to talk about that one a little bit? Because I think it's really funny.
Yes, I am talking about that one because I still think it's funny to this day. And
Yes.
we had to convince Kylie. Like, it took forever to convince Kylie.
So I pushed for this episode for like, I think a year and a half, and I
Yeah.
finally got Kylie to approve it, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna graduate, like please let me do this. And she did, and it was really funny. I think, you know, it pushed the bounds of like political comedy a little bit, and I think having the ability and like okay to do that was exciting and fun. And then also I think it just turned out to be like a really funny, I don't think it was in bad taste, like I think it was a very good taste, like
And
funny.
maybe, do you want to describe for the audience what is the setup for this joke?
Okay, so it is Jackie Kennedy, and she is returning the rental car the day after JFK's assassination. And so the interesting thing there that I found while researching this was that JFK was assassinated in a Lincoln.
But I think you're about done here. You have a great day, Mrs. Kennedy. Oh no, she left her sheet metal.
Rest in peace. Honestly, I think I might be going as John F. Kennedy and Jackie Kennedy for Halloween. So.
And you know, that's a fire Halloween costume.
Thank you. No, yeah, I think it was done in good taste. I think it's something that like happened so long ago that, you know, you can kind of have a little satirical laugh about it.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But I also think it was fun, and it was like an opportunity to do something a little bit new outside of what I think Uplate kind of usually does. So yeah, a little bit more reality based.
And from all the work that you've done on AppTV, what are some of the biggest takeaways that you've had?
I think some of the biggest takeaways is to like just always put yourself out there. You know, if I hadn't gone to that first AppTV interest meeting, I wouldn't have ever joined Uplate or ever become a producer of Can't Think Straight or met some of my best friends or like, you know, be surrounded with such an incredible community and like support system and network. And so I think remembering that people around you are here to watch you succeed and help you grow, and like no one here wants you to fail. Those are all things that I hope carry with me into just kind of the adult world. And then I think also just remembering that it's okay to not know everything, and that we are all people that are continuously learning, and that's an awesome thing to always be learning, and we should also feel lucky to be learning all the time. So, yeah.
Yeah. And how do you think AppTV has helped you in your post-grad life since graduating?
Yeah, you know, I've been doing some producer and editor work on a podcast. I just wrapped up my time doing that, and AppTV prepared me in every way, shape, or form for that. I walked into the recording studio and knew what everything is. I, you know, understand everything. My classes helped me for that, but like being able to understand the technical aspects, but also being able to understand how to work with a team are two things that AppTV uniquely teaches you. And I think having those leadership skills gave me confidence in the workspace that I probably wouldn't have otherwise, and probably would have been like pretty scared and feel like I was undermining myself. So I think AppTV helped me to be confident in myself and understand that like I have abilities and strengths and you know, a lot to offer the production world.
Yeah, I think I would have to say the same thing, especially since you can move up leadership-wise a lot more quickly within AppTV,
Yes.
rather than in the classroom setting where there is assigned someone's a director, someone's an editor, someone's doing boom op,
and classes are like required. AppTV is an opt-in situation, so like everyone is here of their own volition. Like you want to be here and you want to be doing this, and I think that's really special too. Like we all have to go to our classes to graduate, but you don't have to do AppTV to graduate. Like, you know, you can join Can't Think Straight or Uplate or Connected Cultures or Buenos Dias Boone, and you can just be there because you want to be there and you want to be doing that work. And I think that that's a really special and unique aspect that you don't get in, you know, just a regular TV production class or anything like that. Like I think that's very unique to the AppTV space.
Yeah, it's definitely important to be passionate about what you're working on. So do you want to talk about some work that you were particularly proud of from AppTV?
Yeah, I think specifically I loved obviously doing the JFK skit, but I was also really happy with all of the live episodes that we were able to do for Uplate. I think having the you know, kind of having the ability to learn how to do a live production while also being able to do pre-recorded things was really interesting. But I think doing coming out stories and sex education episode on Can't Think Straight would probably be like my most important and I guess personal favorite or important moments that I take away.
All right, well, I'm so glad that you were able to come in today. This has been Sadie Weiss coming in to talk about all things AppTV.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ari. And Sadie, we wish you all the best and appreciate you taking the time to be a part of this show. Next, we're going to toss to AppTV training coordinator Evan Stauffer, who is sitting down with AppTV alumni Jax Constantino.
I'm Evan, and I'm the training coordinator with AppTV, and here I'm going to be interviewing Jax Constantino about, just their experience with AppTV. How are you, Jax?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So what did you do in AppTV? Like, what were you involved with? Did you hold any staff positions?
So I joined AppTV my last semester of my senior year. So I kind of just tried to be involved with anything that I could be. So I did Pixel Peak, I did Up Late primarily, and I tried to do Get Bacon. That was still kind of in the early stages, and I also helped out with religion in life when I could. I had a class conflict that time, but I would help set up and occasionally help in the studio.
Yeah, awesome. Get Bacon is in full throttle now. Just we got it all. I'm super excited about it. And how did being like a part of App TV impact like the end of your senior year?
It really kind of brought me closer with a lot of the EMB people in the building. And I kind of made a lot more connections, friendships with everyone there. And I'm so sad I didn't join earlier. I should have joined earlier, but better late than never. And I'm really glad I got to experience that for the one semester that I did, doing as much as I could.
Yeah, and besides like all the friends that you made and connections, or were there any skills that you learned that kind of stuck out to you?
Um, I helped direct loosely some segments in Uplate. I primarily worked behind the scenes with that. But one of the skill sets that stuck out to me now is directing. I currently am a content creator with the Cary Theater in downtown Cary, and it's just a crew of one, and that's just me. So it really kind of Up Late kind of helped guide that kind of directing when I create videos for the Cary, and that kind of helped start those kind of skills that you need for that. And I've slowly progressed. I've come a long way in the short time that I've been at the Cary, but directing is pretty difficult for me, but I'm glad I kind of had that start. And I was around so many creative people my time at Uplate, so I've seen a lot of directing, but now when it's actually my turn to do it, it's quite different. So understanding that skill set and kind of growing that.
Yeah, so when starting to direct for especially like Up Late, were there any like challenges that you started facing?
Um, a lot of it was just fully explaining. Like the vision in my head didn't really match up with what I was seeing, and trying to figure out and navigate. Okay, how can I further explain what I'm looking for? Yeah, I did a ton of directing it Up Late. I primarily did behind the scenes stuff and helping organize, but it was awesome. So kind of figuring that out.
Yeah. What were your favorite memories of App TV?
I'm gonna have to say the first live show with Up Late. That was such an awesome experience to be a part of, and I'm so grateful. I really enjoyed kind of watching everything come together and just watching the progress from start to finish, because that had never been done. So kind of building that from the ground up, like, okay, what's the rundown gonna look like? What segments do we need? we have to accommodate for commercial breaks. So just kind of figuring that out and like all those details that you have to have a live show. It made me think a lot of SNL and the stuff that they're doing every single week. And I know that's kind of a stretch, but I'm just kind of seeing all of the things that need to happen to show day. So that was such a special experience for me.
Yeah. Um, Out of any episode that you've done, not just Up Late, but all throughout App TV with like Pixel Peak or even Religion and Life, do you have a favorite segment or episode that you worked on?
Oh, it's gonna have to be the Joe Gerard, Freddy Fazbear segment from Up Late. And that was so special because I've never rapped before. I've never been in a bear suit rapping. um,
You just sell cars? I'm an animatronic who bears many scars. 9-hit games about me and my crew. I may be stuffed in a suit, but I'm not stuffed in a suit.
but I managed to find a music producer for that. So kind of watching that grow literally from nothing to something was really, really fun. And it was super silly and definitely out of my comfort zone, but I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I've seen that segment. It's so funny.
Hmm.
How do you think App TV has changed since when you were a student to now?
Um, I really like the social media. I've been paying very close attention to that and kind of the interactive part that's kind of become more present since I've been out of it, has been really, really enjoyable to watch. And just seeing people having a lot of fun, seeing the constant posts is something I absolutely love.
Awesome. And you said you were now working at the Cary Theater, and just how is that?
It's awesome. It's definitely I didn't necessarily picture myself in that, but I've absolutely come to love it. Whenever someone says content creator, that can be so vague, and this was a new position at the Carry, so I'm the very first one to have that position. So I've kind of figured out a lot. I've learned a lot. It's a crew of just me. I primarily run the social media, but I'm also there for like every live comedy event, live music performance. For example, tonight or tomorrow night, they're bringing in a ghost podcaster. So I'm going to be kind of filming and doing some stuff and posting about it. But it's been really incredible. And it reminds me a lot of just kind of being around creatives because it's more to do with film and things like that. So it's really, really awesome. It's really good.
Yeah, that's super cool. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me, and hopefully you can stop by Beasley soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
And it's always exciting to hear what AppTV alumni are up to. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the first ever AppTV Alumni Takeover, where we are sitting down with former AppTV alum to reflect on how their college days at AppTV have impacted their professional experience. Next up, we have a former Black Hat App producer, Tessa Coakley.
Hey guys, my name is Raya and I'm here with
Tessa Coakley.
So Tessa, what did you do for AppTV?
A new show called Black It App. I'm your host, Tessa Coakley.
And I'm your co-host, Lenny Vaya. And thanks for joining us today. Black Hat App is meant to shed light on our proud Black presence here at App State.
That's right, Lenny. We'll have the latest on events, clubs, news, fashion, music, and more right here.
I was a producer for Black It App TV, and I also created the show. And I had been on Buenos Dias Boone as well as a writer and editor, teleprompter really.
So how did being a part of AppTV impact your college experience overall?
It made me more confident in my skills. Creating Black Hat App TV was really a starter for me in terms of creating my own things and making a group, making a team. We made the scripts, we made the production through and through, and it really shaped who I am today.
It's actually a really great segue into how did your experience at AppTV help shape your career and skills?
Well, well, I'm a director and writer now, but I've transferred over into film. I moved to California, and literally every single thing that I've learned, from the control room to the lingo to how to carry yourself, chain of command, all of it has really been helpful in how I carry myself in meetings and describing my skill set.
So, did working with App TV inspire you to pursue film?
Yes, yes, it did. Um, I had gone on, I was in between like reporting, producing, and then filmmaking, and all of it was kind of like in the same realm for me. Um, did it help? Not directly. It was like a stepping factor for me. I think the direct like push was Ryan Witt's class when I took like Ryan Witt and Professor Kelly Davis, like their classes were like, okay, I'm going for it.
So, did you face any challenges during your time working with App TV? And if you did, how did you overcome them and what did you learn from overcoming them?
Oh, for sure. Producing and creating a show, because you took over. Good gracious. It's hard, is it not?
It's actually so incredibly hard.
I'm telling you, like, you have to be the leader, and where people might like slack off, you have to pick up because it's a show. Like, you have to send something into Austin, and like, it has to be on time. It has to meet these certain requirements. That's like, nobody's gonna do it but you because you're the head of the show. And being in school as well, like, it's not a job, but like when you're head of something and you take it seriously, it feels like a job. Like you have to meet those deadlines. You have to like put people in groups that like maybe aren't like getting along or can't get something done. Like, yo, you gotta light a fire under their butt for real. So,
What is your favorite memory from your time with App TV?
man, there was like a certain meeting. It was like an interest when Black It Out TV was at like its biggest capacity. I think we had like 12 or 14 people, and everybody was in a meeting. And then we had gone through, introduce each other, and then we you remember when we talked about like what's your favorite moment in Black history? It's like
Yeah. Oh, oh.
somebody said the Montgomery Brawl. It was you. You took mine. And like Black It Out TV, it was more than a show. Like we all hung out, like me, you, Raya,
Yeah.
Katie, Sophie, and we really built a family. I looked forward to it every single week. And I mean, yeah, it was grueling, but we did so many fun activities, and we grew a family. It wasn't just a show. So I'd say that's my best memory.
Do you have a favorite segment or episode that you worked on?
Oh, yes, I do. I don't remember the name, but I think Alec Woods was um the anchor. And it was just our best looking show, and I think it got the best views. Mess. Oh, I can't speak. Um, but through and through, from our intro to like it looked really polished and really clean. And that's what I have on my resume to this day. Like, yeah, we did that.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank you, Raya.
Thank you, Rhea and Tessa. We appreciate you taking the time to be a part of the first AppTV Alumni Takeover. Unfortunately, I am not Grace Ellen. I'm AppTV's current training coordinator, Evan Stauffer. Might be the next best thing. Today, I am joined here with Davis Taylor, Spring 25 App State graduate. Davis, how are you doing today?
I'm great, buddy. It's good to see you.
I know. I feel like it's been a while.
It has. It's been about, how long has it been since the last time I saw you? About 2 months?
Maybe 3.
3 months.
A little more than that, June. Yeah, but how's it been? How you doing?
It's been crazy. So I work at Trader Joe's, folks. I'm living the dream. I was looking for something. The job market, it's no shocker, is absolutely horrible. And so, it takes its time, but I'm waiting to hear back on some stuff right now that I'm excited about. But yeah, I've been working at Trader Joe's, and I am the backup to the guy who runs all of the beer orders in the beer section. So I just got promoted like this week, and I'm the beer guy. But everybody at work either calls me the beer boy or they call me the wine troll. I literally get called, because we have like this little corner in the back stockroom where we keep all the wine, and so I get called the wine troll. And at first it hurt my feelings, and then it evened out. But I'm okay. I'm doing good. I am like Jordan said earlier, I'm unbelievably happy to be here in this beautiful weather. I miss this college very, very much. I miss this town very, very much. But I'm grateful to have the opportunity to stop back in and talk to you guys.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you worked on shows like Corner Concerts and Up Late. Do you have any like memories that specifically stuck out to you from those shows?
I mean, I have 1,000. I think, and they're all, I have all fond memories. I think about, oh my gosh, what comes to mind like most prominent when I think about like AppTV was my involvement of like right when I started with Up Late. Was like that when Connor was the producer, and it was me, Kylie, and Connor working like very intensively on a couple projects that were just so fun. Jury Duty was very, very fun. When I pitched that, I was very, very excited about that. The presidential debates, loved. I'll never forget. At the end of that sketch, I like give the bird to the camera, and I'll never forget. It was pre-recorded, and we like edited it, and I told Michael Regnery, who's the DP, the editor, and I told him, I was like, get ready, you're going to have to edit this out. And then I said what I said in the thing. If folks at home, I gave the bird to the camera. And I said something also inappropriate, and I remember the room just was like, there's no way. I just remember we were all sitting there, and I was like, even I in my mind was like, I cannot believe I just said that. I absolutely cannot. I'm glad that I have changed my my mentality on comedy, but that was very, very fun. But we had a couple late nights editing that I was just kind of like there for. I just like showed up, and we were hanging out. I loved that. The Corner Concerts, my involvement at the end of my college time was like, I would say genuinely like what I got the most fulfillment out of. Like, I truly do think like that show is just so deeply important to like the culture of the area. I think like local music is so like I think, and I don't want to sound any kind of way, but I think local music is so important to small towns. And I mean, obviously all towns, but especially small towns, to like create that culture and like maintain that uniquity when it comes to like different art forms that exist within the town. You don't want it to just be a place that has one specific thing. And so I love like the existence of like the Weasels and like other famous for the area bands and whatnot, like RKS, Rainbow Kitten Surprise is like playing here tonight, and like they're basically from here, and like things like that. I think it's so important. So I think the idea of uplifting those voices and like those voices existing outside of their shows that they're doing, so that they're on these bigger platforms, I think is awesome. And I love what they're doing. I know that they're absolutely still killing it, 100% still killing it. But I think like that's something that I truly got like the most like something that I'm like, if I could do with my life. And now granted, I enjoyed and love and would love to do with my life everything that we ever did, but like that is like truly something that's like, if I had some like material way to like be involved and around that would be fantastic. Yeah. But I think like that's some of my fondest memories of like the last live show like gave me a lot of joy. And like that those early uplates, not to say all of Up Late was awesome. Everything that I was and wasn't a part of, I'm proud of that I can even have my name near it. But like the people that I worked with when I was, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, but the people that I worked with, like Ariana Bennett, Sadie Weiss, Kylie Connor, Alana Jones, like all these people, and there's so many more besides them, are just so unbelievably talented and such good creative minds. And it's like having that space, like the fact that we've cultivated this space for like young professionals, I'll call it, is just so awesome to me. Yeah, it's so great to hear. Mm-hmm. And you're talking about how music and showcasing music is something that you would really enjoy. Yeah. I think of another aspect of life that you could go into is art. And I actually have two paintings for you from a past Up Late shoot that we did. So we did in Up Late in the last season, we have two paintings
that Davis and I did of each other. And this is the one I drew of Davis right here. It's him on a skateboard because, I thought he was cool. I messed up the sky. It was a little too dark. And then, so I showcased mine first. And then I look over and I see this. No pupils. I've got a ski mask and I think grills.
It's not a ski mask.
But it's my face. But I think we have the clip of the episode pulled up. If we could hop into that. So
What's the inspiration?
The inspiration, is when we filmed our short film. This is the sidewalk that I had to walk back and forth on.
Yes.
27 times.
We filmed a short film together, which he walked on the sidewalk 25 times.
Yeah, it was some big number like that.
Big number like
Cars kept coming by.
So the inspiration behind mine was kind of I wanted to take a peek inside your soul. And I wanted you to understand my vision of you as friends and kind of just like in the bond that we've kind of grown these last couple months. You're important to me, you're a good friend of mine. Like, I wanted to express my vision of you. And so I call it the cornea. This is the cornea. This is what my painting is called. So this is it. This is my painting of you.
Do I have grills?
Yeah.
Why am I so big?
Because there was like one time when you were flustered about something and you got red. And I just have a distinct memory of you being super red one time.
Was this
We were filming something.
That's got to be one of my favorite segments that I've done. Honestly, that or we did a babysitter breakup where we sat in chairs just like this.
Oh my God.
And, he was leaning over and he said, "Evan, I'm not going to wipe your butt anymore."
Yeah.
It was
No, I think when I look at the painting, I remember the idea pitch and I was like, I think, I don't know if I told anybody this, I think we got lucky we did it together, but I think in my mind I was like, I will only do this with Evan. But also B, I remember that in my mind, we were like paint each other and I remember I had a distinct memory of you being flustered and folks, he went stop sign red about something, I don't even remember what it was. And it was quite easily, I put the paint down, the pink paint, and I was like, commit, do it. Also, too, I look back on that, my mustache was so long. I had handlebar at the time. So glad I stopped doing that. But no, I remember I was just like, I'm just gonna commit to pink. Let's do pink. And I remember Jordan, I think it was either Jordan or Bobby, he walked up behind me and he just goes, "What are you doing?" And I go, "Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it." But that was so funny. And then the babysitter took us it took us 4 takes.
Yeah.
For us to really get what we wanted.
And we had a rough idea of what we wanted, but no script.
Because I specifically was like, no script, get into character. Let's just do it. Let's get on the skateboard and let's ride. And it worked. I think it worked very well.
Yeah, it took us we did 3 takes, and the third one was good. And then we're like, you know what, for safety, let's do one more. And that was the money shot. That was the one.
Yeah, because when I said I'm not gonna wipe your bum thing, I was like,
I lost it.
Like, folks, I have struck gold.
When you think back into things apart from AppTV, such as the Appalachian Podcast Network, which you pioneered and you started, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I started in January of 2024, so it was the first week of my second semester of my junior year, and I remember I had met the radio people at that point, and I was like, I like this. These are nice people, and I knew about the shows existing. And I thought about in my mind about what media I liked, and I like comedy podcasts. I'll never shy away from that. I love a good comedy podcast, in the background thing. But I always very I know that, there's the difference in comedy podcasts of like very structured stuff and very unstructured stuff. I think like comedy podcasts should always be just people running funny people being funny people. But I also think like, there's an unbelievably important place for like the true crime and the history podcasts and the things like that where it's incredibly segmented. And there was like an NPR one that I'm thinking of that I can't off the top of my head remember. But I think like podcasting is an incredibly prevalent thing that I was like, I know that other aspects of the university like do it and like have stuff going on with it, and I was like, I think we should. So it was some long-winded efforts. It was great. I had a great graphic designer make me a logo, and that was my kickoff. And some great advice and some great work with our advisor Austin, which really helped kind of like pave the way into what it turned into, which was very primarily an organization of the radio shows. And then we had a couple pre-recorded stuff too. I briefly ran Up Late podcast, but I think it just kind of turned into not something that I had. I was so busy when I was running it that fall, and that time to dedicate to like writing bits and stuff like that. But also too, like with the other shows, I was like, I'm glad that like the morning app or Turning Laps or like all these shows the whole point was like, I want these things to exist out of time, not for me. I don't care like that, like, it's not like it's not glory or anything. It's like, I want this so that the Turning Laps guys have this for the real and like have this stuff. But also too, in terms of entertainment, it's like, I will say Fantasy Friday, like our fantasy football show we used to do like last year, like JD Rogers did it, and like it was like it was our most successful show because like they send it to their friends and like they did it, and it was super great. And I wanted these things to like this content to exist outside of time, which is like what we're doing upstairs, and I wanted it to exist for the radio too. So it's like you taking the cable, putting it on YouTube. It's like the same thing for the radio, I thought.
Yeah, well, that's super cool. And well, Davis, thank you so much for joining us. And next up, we have Spring 2024 App State graduate Liam Dunman.
Introducing the new Spring Critter Collection from Taylor Incorporated. This new line of stuffed animals features Buzz the Bee, Reginald the Frog, Chonkers the Seal, and Freddy the Teddy. Let's take a closer look at each of these critters. Buzz the Bee loves frolicking in the fields and always takes time to smell the roses. He loves to uplift others and give hugs. Reginald the Frog loves tea parties and standing up for his friends. He is an avid painter and loves to get creative. Chonkers the Seal loves to swim and fish. He always loves to give a round of applause to his buddies and make them laugh. Freddy the Teddy loves to sing and play guitar. He's the lead singer of the Fantasy and Fun Band at his very own pizza place. He also enjoys committing arson and scaring others. You can find all of these new critters in any major store with their own name tag. Come on down today.
I hate you.
I thought I'd throw you a little curveball.
I hate you.
I know how much you love that segment.
I hate you.
How much I love that segment. How much the people love that
I was
segment.
so tired when I filmed that. Oh my God. We were doing the live show, and they were like, we need somebody to do it. And I was like, I thought Michael was the voiceover guy. Come on. So I just did the voice.
Yeah, we had to
do it now.
I had to let the people see what they need. The people want it. The people need it. We got to show it to them. But now we are going to pass it to Spring of 2024 App State graduate Liam Dunman.
Liam, what did you do for AppTV when you went to App State?
So I was the graphics and editing coordinator for AppTV for 2 years, I believe. And I was also the producer of 2 shows, Live at RFG and The A Game.
And how did being part of AppTV impact your college experience?
Well, as far as I'm going to give 2 answers to that one. For post-grad, after leaving App State, definitely just having experience on a resume was a huge thing in my job searching process. And just getting the hands-on experience throughout the whole 4 years that I was there, not just when I was an actual staff member. But just really propelled my experience level. And then as far as actually being in college, I mean, it just led to meeting a lot of great people, both my professors and the people that I worked with, and just a lot of connections and really a sense of community was really nice to have.
Mm. That's kind of how I've been feeling too, just the
Yeah.
community, making friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you kind of mentioned this, but how did your experience with App TV, how did that kind of build on your career and your skills?
Yeah. So, I mean, as honestly, everything that I do on a daily basis now is almost exactly what I did at App TV. Being a video editor now, and then the graphics and editing coordinator at App TV, there's a lot of stuff that transferred over there, obviously. And yeah, just having being able to have time to sit there and learn the programs and learn this like skill set of stuff that you need to know. Having, you know, professors at your disposal to teach you how to, and well, not just professors, but everyone involved in App TV that could share some knowledge just over time really starts to build up. And by the time I got to the end of the 4 years, I felt like I was really sitting in a good position.
Mm. And do you feel like that kind of experience, did that inspire you to move a certain way, or
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
made you like, yeah.
Yeah. Um, Being that I was the graphics and editing coordinator, that really steered my interest into more the editing and creative sides of things. So I didn't exactly go the news route, which is, mainly what this major is focused on, but um, there's still a lot of similarities in that and what I do now. But being involved in App TV, I think they give you a lot of creative freedom, and it's really good to use that to your advantage. And you can definitely transfer that into a workplace. Um, I feel like now more than ever, jobs and companies or whoever you work with are more than open to letting you have a lot of creative freedom. So, explore that as much as you can, I guess is what I would say while you're in college, and it'll transfer well.
Live from Peacock Hall on the campus of Appalachian State University on App TV. This is the A Game Live.
What's your favorite memory from your time with App TV? Or you can say a few if
Gosh.
you have.
Yeah.
Can't narrow it down.
I think the most memorable thing that I did definitely was when we did the first live show for the A game, which was just a massive production for, especially on like the App TV level of things. Like, as far as I know, we hadn't really done anything like that at the time. And, you know, we had a pretty big team, I think close to 15 people working on it. And I was at the helm of it all since I was the producer. So there was just a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff going on and to keep track of. And it was a lot of stress, but it was really enjoyable.
Up! 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 All right, up! All right, that's what you're getting here today. Georgia Southern, you should be worried because App State's going to get a huge win.
But other than that, really just producing live at RFG was probably my favorite thing, because kind of just hung out with a band for a couple hours and listened to them play. And I've always really loved music, so anything involved in that show, well, I would consider a favorite memory.
How do you think that App TV has changed you from when you were a student?
Wow, I have to think about that one. I feel like there's a lot of stuff I could name. I feel like it got me a lot more comfortable talking to people, just because when you're involved in App TV, you have to talk to people all the time. You can't really sit in the back necessarily of a class and not talk to anyone. Like, if you're on a show, you're involved for the most part, and that's definitely a skill you want to have, like in the workforce, just being able to talk to people, even if you don't necessarily look at them as like someone like, oh, we're friends or whatever, but being able to work with them, and like it really did kind of simulate what a real job kind of was. Just having to work with people and like collaborate, and sometimes even butt heads over things and stuff like that. Like, um, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. And my last question is, what are you doing now?
I'm currently a video editor at a media production company in Lexington, North Carolina, called Bumbles and Beans Media. So we produce social media content for companies that hire us as retainer clients. So they're on a weekly schedule. We do real estate, weddings, headshots, really anything media related, and what people want to bring to us, we'll do it.
Cool. It's awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing a quick little interview.
Yeah, thank
I think
you.
they're doing homecoming.
Thank you so much, Liam and Nora. And don't worry, guys, I'm back now. You don't have to deal with that training coordinator guy anymore. And now I'm going to keep moving along to, I may be a little biased here, the following A-game producer there. We have App State Spring 2025 graduate, Emma Ficker. Hey everyone, so today I'm joined with Spring 2025 App State AppTV grad, Emma Ficker. Emma, thanks for joining us today. A little background about Emma. She was a part of AppTV for 3 years during her time at App State. She originally joined A-Game, the sports show, for just working as a crew member, and she did that her junior year, and then her senior year she applied and became the producer for the A-Game, as well as working as the technical director on Appalachian Weekly News and helped out with Uplate's season finale. Emma, how have you been? Like, how's it going?
I've been good. I've been so busy, but it's been great. I have like a really cool, awesome job with ESPN now. But life has been great.
Well, that's super exciting. I think I just sort of want to jump in and pick your mind sort of about that ESPN job. It wasn't too long ago that you were actually at App TV. How did you get the quick turnaround to now you're working in professional sports broadcasting studios?
Ooh, that's a good question. I made connections throughout undergrad, just kind of reaching out to anybody and everybody that I could. So one of the producers at ESPN, I actually connected with my sophomore year, just to like shadow even at ESPN, just to get some kind of background. And I connected with him, and eventually a spot opened up for an internship, and he sent me the link and was like, "Hey, like I think you would be a good fit for this." I applied, interviewed several times, and just kind of found myself I got very lucky to be selected for an internship position at ESPN in Charlotte, actually.
That's super exciting. And first off, congrats. That's an incredible accomplishment. Good for you. Um, Throughout that application process, did you find that there were any skills that you learned at App TV that translated over into helping you get this job or an internship at ESPN?
For sure. App TV taught me a lot about just kind of working together as a team. Sports and TV is just a lot of collaboration. I think my favorite part of my job is all of the collaboration that I do. My favorite nights are my shift is from 3 p.m. until 1 a.m. and it's cutting highlights for football games as of right now. It'll be basketball and other things shortly, but just kind of the collaboration space that I have with all these other um, production assistants, and it's just the most fun day of my week. And I think learning how to build a rundown, understanding rundowns, is something that I kind of didn't realize how important it was, especially when I'm working on the studio side of things and putting together a studio show that literally airs that night. So yeah, just the importance of a team and kind of being on top of everything is definitely something I learned from App TV that I've taken into my career.
Collaboration definitely can be the key to whichever it's like what type of show you really do put on in the end. To talk about a little bit more of like what you do every day as an intern for ESPN, could you kind of walk through like a day in the life of just sort of what you did? I know we're meeting at 8 o'clock tonight because you worked all day today. What did you do today? What was your like day in the life?
Okay. Yeah. My day in life, they're different depending on what show I'm on. So for example, today I was on the Paul Feinbaum show. The ESPN office does the SEC network shows. So I worked on the Paul Feinbaum show today, and we have these segments called pods, which fills up the airtime that TV allots for, but radio does not. Radio has more ad time. So in order to fill those 2 minutes and 30 seconds, we cut the interviews that Paul does during the show. We cut them while he's filming, and then they air actually later in the show. So we cut down those 10 minutes interviews he does down to 2 minute, 30-second interviews, the best of, we call them. And we'll air that again later, a couple hours. It's a 4-hour long show. It starts at 3. I'll cut in the morning when I get there at 11. 11 till 3, I'll cut B-rolls and bumps, any kind of montage-y clips. I don't know if before the show starts, so they can air those during the show. So it's just a lot of cutting things for shows that I'm on. And that includes like literally like 20 seconds of maybe a quarterback or a coach or someone that they have a guest coming on. And yeah, that's kind of what my day was like today. And I got home at 7 o'clock.
So super heavy in post-production.
Yes. Yes.
I've got some hockey fans in the background actually
It's
while we're
okay.
sitting here talking about sports broadcasting. But lots of post-production work like aspects. What was it like? I know we've talked a little bit since post-grad. You had to learn a new editing software. What was the learning curve sort of like that? And just the job atmosphere from going from editing on Adobe at AppTV and now which do you add on?
I edit now. We use a server at ESPN called it's our QCut server. It's Quantel editing software. It's a lot more. It's not as advanced as Adobe is. Our editors that like are on staff for editing, they use more of the Adobe Premiere and all those After Effects. I normally just edit on like our Quantel servers, which is just a different server base. I think it's the right terminology. But we edit through that, and it's a lot more simplified kind of editing software in the sense that a lot of the shortcuts are easier. But it was definitely a learning curve to learn that, because you learn how to edit with your keyboard on on the Mac, but then you come around and use the Quantel and you're like, oh my God, this is totally different. And so there was a learning curve, but once I started, it wasn't too bad.
Nice. Well, we're sort of starting to hit our time a little bit here, and I wish we could talk about more. However, for any AppTV upcoming grads or just current members, or maybe they're not even a part of AppTV yet, what would be your message of just like key to take out of AppTV, especially maybe they want to go into sports broadcasting on the production side? What would be your best tip for them?
I would just say make connections with everybody. You never know who along the way you're gonna run into. Kind of just reach out and put on a good face, and I don't know, just be hardworking and show that you care. And I think that goes a long way. And just make connections wherever you can, because seriously, they are so important to have and lean on.
Hey, I can agree with that. I always love a hardworking AppTV member.
Yes.
Yeah, we love it when you help out the producers.
Yay.
Well, Emma, thank you so much for taking the time, and we're gonna throw it back to the studio now.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Grace Ellen. So yes, we're back in the studio with me. If you've been enjoying our show today and are a current student at App State interested in joining AppTV, check out AppTV's Instagram at AppTV to see more information on how you can join and get trained to be on one of our cool shows like how all of these alumni have been talking about today. Now, for our final interview of the night, it's the 2023-2024 AppTV Station Manager, Jenna Dunning.
Jenna, thank you so much for joining today.
Hey.
How has post-grad life treated you?
So far, so good. I graduated in May of 2024, so I'm about a year and a half out now, and the beginning was definitely an adjustment period. You know, there was big changes happening. It was slow to start, which was weird. You know, I originally went off and worked at CBS in the news industry and decided it wasn't for me and weighed out some more options and wound up taking a digital marketing job. And then I decided also to start my own business. So busy as ever, but I'm happy. I'm feeling good.
And do you want to talk about some of the positions that you were on and while you were on AppTV?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was the producer for Can't Think Straight, Religion and Life, and then I was also the station manager for a period of time. So, yeah.
And welcome to the season 6 finale of Can't Think Straight. And welcome to my final episode on Can't Think Straight. Aww. Who would have thought that 4 seasons of producing would fly by the way that they did?
And what skills did you learn from those positions?
Time management. Time management was a big thing. I like to stay busy. I know a lot of people who are in AppTV feel the same way. It's just a way of life for us, people who work in media. We're go, go, go. But balancing all of that definitely taught me how to budget time, not only for work, but for myself. And how important it is to have time to decompress when you're in a job that requires all of you, not just mentally but physically. So that was a big thing. I also learned a lot of technical skills. Some of those carried over, some of those did not, considering, like I said, maybe if I continued my path through the news field, more of the technical skills would have applied to what I do. But the interpersonal skills that I got as a station manager, meeting with people, conflict resolution, trying to maintain a positive work environment, that all carried over to the position I work now and has benefited me, a ton with my professional career. Yeah.
And do you have a project that you worked on at AppTV that you're personally proud of?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd say a project that I was really proud of and I still use, like as examples and like my portfolio for potential clients, is the work I did on the Way Hall story for AWN. I don't know. I feel like that was just beneficial and extremely well-rounded, and it mattered to our campus. So I'm proud of that. I'm also really proud of, I guess, like kind of helping AppTV through its rebuild. We had a change of leadership twice during the time I was there, and we had we just had a lot of new people, new faces in, which was really great. And I definitely wanted to support a collaborative environment where no one was on an island. And I can see even over here in Pittsburgh that it's been sustained. So I feel like that was an accomplishment for me. And obviously everyone I worked with also, it was an all hands on deck situation, but those two things probably mean the most to me.
That's a wrap. Everybody get out.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank y'all so much.
Bye, Jenna.
Bye.
Do you want to talk about one of the biggest takeaways or lessons you got from AppTV?
Yeah, definitely. Good question. I was like, oh, let me give you my off the bat answer, but I am gonna have to think about this one. Biggest takeaway I got from AppTV. I think it was my self-worth. I think it was like knowing if you're good at something, never do it for free. And it's what led me to start an LLC, because I'd started doing favors for family, friends, whether it was like filming a graduation or if they're a realtor, like filming their social media posts, something like that. And like I was like, people make a lot of money for this, and I know that my skills, like I got at a collegiate level, and AppTV's program, or AppState's program through AppTV, is fantastic. So I felt that confidence to be able to actually make money out of, my education, in a way that's not so corporate. It's a little more freeform. So I'd say that's, my biggest takeaway is like knowing my worth and learning that if you're good at something, never ever do it for free. We got to make a living. It's trying times these days, but I'm grateful for what I learned.
And you were the station manager from 2023 to 2024. Do you have any advice for people that are looking into becoming the next station manager?
Yeah. So if you're becoming station manager, if you're curious about it, I know it's a lot of meetings. Like I know that like majority of the job is sitting down and talking to people, but that is what real life is. Real life in like a corporate setting, and maybe if you were, and even in like a non-corporate setting, most of your job is literally just talking to people, communicating. And I cannot stress enough like how important it is to have continuous communication, because otherwise things slip through the cracks. You get blamed for things that may not have been your fault. Preventable, you could have taken preventative measures for some problems. It's just like communication is so key. And I always believe you can never have enough meetings. Like it is a good thing. So getting into that rhythm early, learning how to manage people and how to create a positive work environment as station manager, really, I sat in front of that TriCaster for hours and hours and hours. I've sat in front of Premiere, Adobe, like behind a Sony, camera, whatever it is. Like I did it. I tried to dabble in everything. But like the thing I do every single day is have meetings. And that's what real life is. So getting that under your belt, learning, like meeting etiquette in a way, and like how to be efficient, because people got places to be. That's the other thing. Is like no one has time to sit for like an hour and like, yap, despite like that I try to do that. But really it was like don't let the fact that you're going to be sitting in meetings be a deterrent, because it's going to help you. It will help you. So I'd say that's but also it's cool to be a leader in something, have somebody ask you questions and being able to provide an answer, or if you can't, being able to know somebody who you can refer them to. It's an overall positive experience.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us, and we hope to see you again next year.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for all your time, Jenna. And thanks to all the alumni that made this show possible today. We can't wait to check in with you all in the future.
And if you're interested in keeping up with us here at AppTV, follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at AppTV.
If you're an alumni and want to be included in the future, you can fill out a form on our website at watchapptv.com.
I'm Grace Ellen Callahan, the current station manager of AppTV.
And I'm Evan Stauffer, the current training coordinator at AppTV.
And on behalf of me and all of the AppTV staff, thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope that you have a great rest of your homecoming weekend.
Bye.